The release of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet ushered in a new generation for the Pokémon franchise as it began its transition into Generation 9, but the launch wasn't flawless. Pokémon Scarlet and Violet's grand adventures and ambitious open worlds have been scrutinized, collapsing under their own weight due to performance issues, numerous bugs, crashes, and functionality issues during gameplay. However, the sheer size of the Pokémon series is both one of its biggest strengths and biggest weaknesses. While reviews of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet were mostly positive, performance issues continued to scrutinize the games. However, it's impossible to ignore the impact that other aspects of the Pokémon series can have on a game's release, as many other releases can force a game to be released in a certain trade window or sync with an anime's release. The Pokémon franchise, from anime to video games to toys and even the Pokémon trading card game, forcing all parts of a media project to be released at the same time ensures that the games never get the development time they need. The Pokémon themselves are hindering the development of Scarlet and Violet. Pokémon Crimson and Violet's strange glitches aren't exactly unheard of in the history of the game franchise, but the sheer scale and prevalence of the performance issues is a step beyond previous entries in the long-running franchise. It's gotten to the point where it seems almost unforgivable, but the main game in the Pokémon franchise is also being released with next-gen animations. Pokémon video games are usually released before Ash's journey through his region is over, with rare exceptions being released within a few weeks of a new season. This allowed the game and the anime to be released simultaneously to promote the upcoming generations of Pokémon, but this may no longer be sustainable as developer Game Freak's growing ambitions collide with the anime's promotional deadlines. As of 2019, Game Freak has been developing the Pokémon Gen 8 games, their DLC, Pokémon Legends, Arceus, and Pokémon Crimson and Violet since Gen 9. Pokémon Legends, Arceus ahead of Gen 9 and the Scarlet and Violet story is seen as the franchise's most ambitious move yet, eschewing traditional gameplay to focus more on the original tagline of "Gotta catch 'em all." However, releasing Legend, Arceus just 10 months before Pokémon Gen 9 makes for a worrying picture, while also following the completion and support of Pokémon Gen 8. Graphics, that is, studios juggling too many things at once, and tight deadlines due to anime releases and other commercial aspects, quality began to suffer. The Pokémon franchise has always been huge, and the games have had their fair share of bugs over the years, but the bug that hit Pokémon Scarlet and Violet's open-world exploration is one of the most common in the franchise's history. Gen 9 was released shortly after the release of Pokémon Legends, Arceus to coincide with the anime finale in the Galar region, and there wasn't much time left. With the main games attached to the release schedule of a larger media project, the Pokémon series, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet is a series that may never reach its full potential within the current release cycle. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.